Hi friends, it's Mrs. Kabai. So today I'm going to read The Mitten with you again because I know that you have already read it one time through. But today we're going to read it one more time and see if we can find anything that we might have missed the first time we read it. Because there are so many things on the pages that give us clues as to what's going to happen next. So much is hidden in our book. And so let's see if we read it again, if we can catch all of those little things that our author, who's our author of this book? Do you remember? Jan Brett. She's the author and the illustrator. We'll see if we can find all the things that she put in this book. Okay, also, I am not going to read this book. I'm going to play it on our iPad, and I will go through the pages and we'll stop it to try to see if we can find anything in the book that is hidden or that we might have missed. All right, are you ready?
The name of this story is The Mitten, a Ukrainian folktale, adapted and illustrated by Jan Brett. You can follow along in your book. Just turn the page every time you hear this sound. Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool as white as snow. At first, his grandmother, Baba, did not want to knit white mittens. "If you drop one in the snow," she warned, "you'll never find it." But Nicky wanted snow-white mittens, and finally Baba made them. After she finished, she said, "When you come home, first I will look to see if you are safe and sound, but then I will look to see if you still have your snow-white mittens." So off Nicky went, and it wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind.
So look at on this page. Do you see anything on the sides that you might not have noticed the first time you read it? Look at those. Yeah. There's little mittens on the sides that have pictures in them. Do you notice something? Let's see if that picture tells us anything about what's going to happen next. Let's see.
A mole, tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed inside. It was cozy and warm and just the right size, so he decided to stay.
So look at, on our last page, there was a mole in the mitten on the side. And then on the next page, the mole got in the mitten. Do you notice something else? A rabbit. Let's see.
Shoe Rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for a moment to admire his winter coat. It was then that he saw the mitten, and he wiggled in feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both of them, but when he saw the rabbit's big kickers, he moved over.
So the rabbit got in. Do you remember what comes in next? What comes in next? Gives us a little clue again. Did you notice that before?
Next, a hedgehog came snuffling along. Having spent the day looking under wet leaves for things to eat, he decided to move into the mitten and warm himself. The mole and the rabbit were bumped and jostled, but not being ones to argue with someone covered with prickles, they made room.
All right, what comes in next? Can you remember? Oh, I wonder if it's the owl. You think the owl comes in next? Let's see.
As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down. When he decided to move in also, the mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled. But when they saw the owl's glinty talons, they quickly let him in.
All right, do you see that? Do you think it's the badger next? And look at this mitten shows Nikki doing things over here. Did you notice that? And if you look really closely at the mitten, can you see the hedgehog's spikes kind of coming through? Pretty funny. Oh, there's the badger.
Up through the snow appeared a badger. He eyed the mitten and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl were not pleased. There was no room left. But when they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumb.
All right, can you remember what comes next? Did you guess it?
It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose in the air,
Fox.
and a fox trotting by stopped to investigate. Just the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy. The fox poked his muzzle in. When the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave the fox lots of room. A great bear lumbered by.
The bear.
He spied the mitten all plumped up. Not being one to be left out in the cold, he began to nose his way in.
Isn't that bear
The
fun?
animals were packed in as tightly as could be. But what animal would argue with a bear? The mitten swelled and stretched.
Swelled,
It was
got bigger.
pulled and bulged to many times its size. But Baba's good knitting held fast.
What comes next?
Along came a meadow mouse, no
mouse?
bigger than an acorn.
On his
She
nose.
wriggled into the one space left and made herself comfortable on top of the great bear's nose.
What happens?
The bear, tickled by the mouse's whiskers, gave an
Right?
enormous sneeze.
Good remembering.
Coffee! The force of the
Nicky over on the
sneeze
side.
shot the mitten up into the sky and scattered the animals in all directions. On his way home, Nicky saw a white shape in the distance. It was the lost mitten silhouetted
There's
against
the
the
animals on
blue
the
sky.
side, some of them.
As he ran to catch his snow-white mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. First, she looked to see if he was safe and sound. And then she saw that he still had his new mittens.
And there's Baba at the end. Do you remember what the mittens looked like? One was really big, right? Why was it so big? Oh yeah, because all the animals had to get inside to stretch it out. So isn't that kind of funny that on the sides, this book, Jan Brett, the author, put in clues as to what animal comes in next to help you kind of remember. I think that's a super fun part of this book. So other books we read, we can look for little clues that the author might put in that will give us hints about something that's going to happen next. That's always fun to find in books. So thanks for reading the mitten again with me. I hope it helped you remember all the animals that got into the mitten and just to find new fun things. So I will talk to you later. Bye.